You are listening to the Pompette podcast, the edutainment podcast about lifestyle, wine, and spirits, hosted by Yolanda Shoshana. Let's get this party started. Hey, thank you so much for tuning into the Pompette podcast. I appreciate you being here. So we are officially in Christmas mode. Well, I guess technically we were already, because in New York, before Thanksgiving, Christmas decorations were being sold, trees were being sold, but now we are official. This is my favorite time of year. Well, actually the beginning of autumn till the end of December. I love the holiday season, from Halloween, Witch New Year, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah / Christmas, and all that good stuff. So, if you're in New York, or if you around New York, make sure you enjoy the city. It's the most beautiful time to be here. The windows, the trees, the smells, just wonderful. And we'll probably get some snow soon. And it's a magical time to be in New York City. I always make sure that I'm here during this time of year. So this show is about Christmas traditions and a Hanukkah one as well. I am Jewish. Hey, some things that we eat and drink during December and the history of those things, some things we don't even think about. So first up is eggnog. Now, I don't really love eggnog. I love eggnog when there's some booze in it. Now, I can't drink that stuff that has no alcohol. I don't understand. But I am really mixed about eggnog, but I probably would have loved the real eggnog back in the day, like first made. Now, I do drink coquito, which is the Puerto Rican version of eggnog, which has that yummy rum situation happening. We'll get to that. But eggnog. So eggnog was originally a wintertime drink for aristocrats in Europe. With the egg and the milk and all that good stuff. And they would add sherry or brandy. The main reason aristocrats were the only ones who drank it is because they're the only ones who could afford it. So eggnog didn't make it to the States until around 1700s. And we added rum to ours, so that's very much like coquito. The U.S. was all about adding rum to eggnog, and no one's fully sure where the name comes from, but some say that the nog part comes from noggin, which used to be a wooden cup, and the grog comes from a strong beer. But either way, by the late 18th century, the term eggnog stuck. So I just think eggnog is very, very interesting, and I may try to make some this year with some sherry. I have some sherry research I've been doing, so that might be an interesting mix. Of course, I can try it with some brandy. Of course, I'm going to go with the king of brandy with some cognac, but or maybe even a little Armagnac. Ooh, eggnog and Armagnac. That sounds good, right? If you have a recipe, send it my way. But I also, like I mentioned, I love coquito, which is the Puerto Rican version of eggnog, and they used coconut milk. And the thing about coquito is no one knows for sure who created it and who started it. I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of these fancy Spanish travelers who kind of created and added things from the motherland and then added the rum. It would make so much sense considering, we were at times of war and all this, and everybody was coming together and drinking their way through all this war and drama and foolishness. But coquito, I am down, but regular eggnog on the shelf, no, thank you. However, those of you who are vegan, there's an eggnog for you now. There's all types of eggnog happening. If there's something that I'm missing, let me know. Now let's talk gingerbread houses, which is another holiday Christmas tradition. This is more about the houses versus gingerbread men, which is a whole other subject. So we got to give it up to the Germans for gingerbread houses. So they were the ones, in Germany, they started building gingerbread houses. And the shout out to that goes to the Grimm's brothers, who introduced gingerbread houses in the story Hansel and Gretel. So they started building gingerbread houses, and it became more popular to do during Christmas, which makes sense because that's a lot of work. Ain't nobody got time to be putting together gingerbread houses in the summer. So they started doing it that time of year. So, when German immigrants came to Pennsylvania, they incorporated gingerbread houses in the mix during Christmas in the USA. And that's how we all now collectively started doing gingerbread in the USA. So, Hansel and Gretel, a very influential yet dark story about witches and children and all of that good stuff. Give it up to the Germans and the witches and gingerbread. Will you ever look at a gingerbread house again the same way? I like gingerbread. I personally don't really have time to build one, but if somebody wants to build a gingerbread house and invite me over, I'll bring some wine. I'll bring sparkling wine. So next up, let's talk latkes, which is a Hanukkah treat. Most New Yorkers have had a latke. Probably most people in a lot of places now have had latkes. They're these lovely fried potato pancakes. It's kind of like a nice French fry, but in a potato pancake form. I used to go to a lot of latke vodka parties because with the oil and then the vodka, how very European. Those were really good times. So latkes, we tend to add applesauce and sour cream, and there's probably a good reason for that. Most people don't realize that latkes actually are a treat we got from the Italians. Shout out to the Italian people. They used to make this lovely potato pancake with ricotta cheese. Kind of makes me want one right now, I have to say. Latkes became popular in the 1800s. Once again, 1800s is when food was really shifting and changing. And the original latkes were not fried in oil, because now we fry them in oil. It's like this whole story, and they taste really great. But the original latkes were fried in schmaltz. Can you imagine? Though it was probably delicious. How could it not be? It's still a fried potato pancake, but originally schmaltz, which kind of now changes up the whole story. It wasn't until around 1911 that we started frying the potato pancakes in oil. Isn't that interesting? Just kind of makes me look at latkes a whole other way. And now there's lots of different variations of latkes, from sweet potato to Yukon latke, to whatever kind of potatoes, whatever. Just, lots of yummy things. If you've never had a latke, do yourself a favor. Get one. They are delicious. I know now some people are pairing them with beer. I think I may stick with a cocktail in latke, but I try it with beer because it's kind of like, I guess, eating fries and beer, but I guess the right beer, a nice Belgian beer and latkes would probably taste really good. I do have some Stella Artois. Clearly, I will be eating a lot this holiday season. Now let's talk about Christmas ham. Yes, as I've stated, I am Jewish, but I do love me some Christmas ham. So I appreciate it when my friends who aren't Jewish invite me over for a little bit of Christmas ham. It's a good time. And we got to give it up again to the Germans for the win, for Christmas ham. And Christmas ham is also known as a Yule ham. Well, actually, originally, let's take it back a little bit. So the Christmas ham is actually a Norse tradition from the Swedish people, who actually would give a ham as an offering to the goddess Freya, who is all about fertility and boars and all this good stuff. But the Germans jumped on the tradition and kind of kept it going. So the German pagans are the ones who actually are the ones we should thank for holding on to this tradition of giving up the ham as an offering and all that good stuff. So those are some of the holiday treats and things that we drink that I thought would be interesting for you to think about as it's on your table. And if there's something that your mom or your father or aunt or grandmother, they make and you don't know the background, ask for the story. There's so many amazing stories in the food that we eat and the things that we drink, and there's just lots of layers, and it'll help you put perspective on what's going on into your body, but also just, what's there on your table. So have a wonderful holiday season. As I said, this is my favorite time of year. I know some people get depressed because it's darker, at least in the States. I know some people, it's light out. It's very interesting how that all works. So I hope you have a lot of love and joy. If you feel alone, make some new friends, get together with your friends or people that you love, create your own traditions, start eating your own food. What do you love to eat? If you don't want a Christmas ham, if you don't eat ham, what vegetarian dish do you love during this holiday season? What makes you happy? What do you love to drink? Pull out some good whiskey or, now we're going to be popping lots of bubbles. I'm all about Cremant this season. While I love my champagne, Cremant is what I'm doing. So just find what you love and enjoy the hell out of it. This bumpy year is almost over, and I'm wishing you so much joy, love, and sending you the best. Until next time, peace, love, and cheers.